Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the browser developer tools. I have chosen Chrome browser for this. If you click on F12 from your browser, it will pop up a window. It can pop up docking to your main window also, like this. And you have a lot of options that I'm going to discuss now. This is the selector. You can click on this and select an element and identify the HTML of the particular element. You see, this is the row column that I have selected, and it has given me the value that it has, the class that it is using, the title, uh, and everything about this particular HTML element. This is an element selector. This is toggling the device mode from say desktop to mobile or from mobile to tabular devices. You can select a variety of devices that Chrome already supports, like this, and you can check how the application behaves. This is the elements tab where you see actual HTML elements that are available in your browser window. Along with this, we have another window docked on it that gives you the styles of the element that you have selected, the CSS styles. The CSS styles that it inherits from multiple classes and multiple files. The computed values, that means if I declare one property in first file and another property in second file, the second file will override the first property. So whichever file that takes the precedence, that overrides, uh, that can be viewed here. Say one file and one location, it is declared as the font family is declared as Roboto, and in another location it is again declared as Roboto, and in another location it is declared as Roboto again. But it overrides the old values and it takes the latest value that is getting overridden here. I'll give you more details about this in my CSS video. You can identify the event listeners. For example, you select an element and see, let's say this icon. On click of this icon, some event gets triggered, and so forth. You can identify the files that are getting called on these clicks. You can identify the properties of these elements if it's a pseudo element. Again, pseudo elements are part of CSS. I'll discuss more on that. You can view all the sources that the browser window downloaded from your server, all the JavaScript files, the CSS files, the SW window that the server is downloading. You can put a breakpoint on the scripts here and debug the script to see whether your script is running properly or not. I will show you how this can be done. In Networks tab, you will find that you can actually record the time that is getting taken for loading all the files. For example, if I refresh this view, it will fetch me all the JS files, all the image files and everything that are getting downloaded for this window, and it will give me the timeline. Let's say if it took me 5 seconds to load this window, I can identify the individual file loading time, and I can observe that one particular file is taking a lot of time to load. So I can identify that file and minimize it. So I can do similar performance tuning from this window. Again, this is similar to what the network does, but this is the actual time that your network or your CPU, your frames that got rendered in the UI took. For example, the image got loaded properly sooner, but all the images got um, embedded into your frame, and it took a lot of time for it to embed. You can identify this in the paint or in the memory profiling or JS profiling. If the JavaScript is embedding these images into your application, you can get a profile of it, and you can observe that it is taking a lot of CPU space. Also, you can monitor your memory. You create objects in JavaScript, and those objects take some memory unless you end their life cycles. They will be into your heap, and they will uh, take some memory. You can collect the CPU profile heap snapshot from here. You can just record it and select it. This is for again performance monitoring, for more monitoring of our application. In this resources frame, we get all the files that are getting loaded. Unlike the sources file, it gives us all the fonts, images, everything that is getting downloaded. In sources file, you can uh, debug the scripts, or you can edit the CSS files real time and test. This is not the place to do it actually. Uh, Here we have another option to add cookies. Cookies are just like how we use a profile attribute in Siebel. It is a profile attribute, kind of profile attribute for your browser. I'll give a real life example of a cookie, how we can use cookies in another video. So security, I don't have much idea about what the security does. We can do some auditing, and this is the most powerful tool that we are going to use. This is the console window with which we can access all the JavaScript objects, all the window objects, everything that JavaScript can do can be done from here. And this is like a watch window where you run your script and see whether it is working or not. For example, I selected a particular element. Okay, I selected this element, and I see that it is a button of uh, let's say this ID. Now I use a console to write a jQuery to identify this particular ID. We use hash to for IDs, and say hide. If I run it, it gets hidden. If I say show, it will come back. So here I can let's say during our debugging, I can put a debug point somewhere. I can run the console code and see if the code is not erroring, if the code is proper what I want. Then copy the code and put it in the JavaScript file. I'll give you more examples about how to use console, and we are going to use it extensively in future videos that I'm going to paste. And for learning more about DevTools, we have developer.google.com site where we can check for Chrome DevTools. They have a lot of videos and a lot of tips that can help you understand more about this window. This is the main tool that we are going to use to monitor our application, to check our scripts, to write CSS and test it real time. So it's important for us to get more familiarized with this window.